people, yeah, you're back again to our program. This is us. And as usual, we're with the usual suspects, Nana and Jude. Hello.
Hi
How you
guys,
doing?
hi Nana.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good. Today, we're actually going to be talking on a very, very hot topic that is actually trending right now. We're talking about people trafficking. And of course, we do recall recent events regarding a former senator that from Nigeria, and currently the case is still ongoing. We don't know the real story about it. But before we go into that, what do we really know about people trafficking, particularly children and women? Nana, being a legal practitioner,
Wow.
what's your take on that?
My take on you, and you, wow, I just got dropped into this, isn't it? The thing with, I think, I can't remember what year it was the Modern Slavery Act, which I believe it came in place, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was around 2015. I need to check it, but I can't remember. And I think the whole point of that act was because there were so many loopholes with human trafficking, it was just trying to like catch it all. So of course we have, like, you have instances. I can only once again speak from what I know of and what I see within our communities. Instances of, like, when people bring I guess domestic staff back home, bring their domestic staff from back home into this country, and they seize their passports and they do this and they do that, and that would fall on that would be human trafficking. And a lot of times, I think when you have conversations with people, and when you have conversations with people within our communities, who I always call them the elites, because you have to be of a certain class to be able to do certain things, and they don't see anything wrong with this.
Nah, man.
Which is why with the case of Senator Ike, he's been like, because I guarantee you that he probably still doesn't see anything wrong with what he's done.
Yeah.
Because we all know that, like, back home, when you're of a certain social class, you get away with a lot of things that people don't even like pick up on, or like you just think it's normal. And I think, right, like, the main issue at the moment where it's been an issue is the fact that what with the kid being underage, because they're saying that the child is actually 15, and they've lied and said the child is 21 or is an adult. And we know that back home that's very common. A lot of us employ people as domestic staff who are underage, and they shouldn't be doing that. And we know that this is happening, and it's almost as if it's accepted. Why? Because they're from a lower social class, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's power dynamics again. It's power play, everything.
And I don't know. For me, it's a difficult thing, because once we start having these conversations, it then also means that what we deemed as being normal is also being questioned. So it then also means that your side eye, and I'm sorry to say, there's certain family members who do these things.
Fine. I think I applaud you, Nana, for saying that, because that's exactly going to be my position. I remember when Nigeria, fortunately, has a law against human trafficking, or modern day slavery thing. I don't know what they call it, but I remember my mom was still alive. My mom passed away in 2016, so it was way before that. She was still alive. And my mom, one thing she did when I was there, she always went back to our village. When she went back to our, you live in city, you go village.
Yeah.
She spent weeks, and my mom would always come with one relative who they were so broke, and she would bring one of their child and put the child through school, and that child didn't really watch after us because we were able to do our stuff. But our child, we do all the errands, run errands for my mom, right?
Yeah.
But my mom always sent them to school. And I remember having been here for a while when she was here. Like, whenever I was sending things on, sending clothes, shoes, she would include whoever was with her at that time. Oh, Isosa is here. Oh, Efosa is here. I'm like, I don't know these people, but she'll be like, there's a child that I'm caring for. I send them to school and they run errands for me. They don't do much. They only just maybe help her, because my mom would cook by herself. She never liked anyone cooking for her. So So that was there. So when that law came about in Nigeria, I immediately called and I said, hey, it looks like from reading this law or this whatever act that's gone through the Nigerian parliament, my mom is guilty of human trafficking. Because obviously I'm a social worker, I'm very aware of this. So I said to my brother, can you guys ensure that mom never brings anybody again to that household? Because I don't want anybody coming to arrest my mom thinking. And my brother was like, forget that thing, I beg, the Nigeria with it. Going back to what you said, the laissez-faire attitude because of the status thing. So because it's been part of that system, a lot of them don't know whether it was wrong or right. Fast forward to England. I was at a conference where I think the lead for modern slavery then, who was working out of the Whitehall, was a very young lady, and she came to do some talk at my workplace then. There were police officers, fire brigades, everybody, nurses, doctors at that conference. What interested me in that speech was she named 5 countries where human trafficking occurs most in the world. I can't remember the others. Nigeria was on that list. Vietnam was on that list. So when I heard Nigeria, I got up. I was like, I need to ask some questions. And I said to her, she was very young. She was about 27. So I said to her, from what you've described, great, it's fine on paper. But let me tell you something. If I told you how I came to Europe, you would classify me as I was trafficked. I said, but one thing you don't know is this. At the origination of our journey, it was always a gentleman agreement between my people and whoever was bringing me to Europe. You get what I'm saying? This is always the case for majority. My parents will go see your parents. Oh, please, your son is in Germany. He's doing very fine. Will your son help my boy come to Germany so that they can help us too? I can see your son. He left for Germany. Now you guys are enjoying life. You see? And they say, okay, I'll speak to my son. And the son comes home for Christmas. Oh, Mama Jude was here the other day. She's begging if you can take Jude to Europe. Yes, I can. But they will have to pay me later. And he does all the paperwork. You come to Europe through visa or whatever, and you owe them 6,000 euros, 10,000 euros. But this was gentlemanly agreement or family-to-family agreement. But right here is described as human trafficking. So a majority of us didn't know what we're doing, that it was against the law. And it is the same for Senator Ike Ekweremadu. And what really beats me about his case was this was one time deputy Senate president. It's not just an ordinary senator. So Senate president. So by virtue of his position, it would have been the number 5th person in the country. If our president died, the vice president died, the Senate president died, the House of Press Speaker died, this man would have been leading the country. And he was so ignorant of these common nuances in the law.
Do you know what it is? I don't know, because I don't know if it's ignorance or if it's the fact that because back home, right, you can flout the laws and there's no consequences, especially when you're in certain when you're in government
position.
Like there's no consequences of you flouting certain rules.
So what did they think, that England was his country?
I think no, not that he thought that England was his country, but you know when you're come on, you still have, I'm sure he still has cronies and people that are still, so he was sure that he would get away with it because all the paperwork was fine.
I see where you're coming from.
So in his mind, the paperwork, it's on point. Like there's no way that anybody is going to suspect that what I'm doing, even though I'm breaking the law, there's no way they're going to suspect that this is what I'm doing.
No, let's law did he say?
And probably the only thing that didn't work in his favor, which is what people are saying, that the guy obviously had an agreement, got to the UK, and now he doesn't want to leave. So now he's saying that,
I think that is wrong, totally wrong. People assume that.
Of course, I think that's wrong. But once again, people are only having these conversations. I always say this because it takes a lot, because then you have to look at the mirror, because we're not going to sit here and pretend like this is like a one-off thing.
No,
perhaps not in the context of like organ donation. But I think people need to understand that it's illegal in the UK to pay someone for organ donation.
Not even that. It's illegal in the UK to traffic anybody for servitude or anything.
And that too. And on top of it, so it's like there's two things that are happening. You're breaking two laws.
Yeah, a lot.
The thing is, I'm not sure. organ donation is legal, right?
That's the
Yes,
yeah.
it
It's
is.
legal.
Yes.
Now, so my worry in this case is that we're being told we don't have the facts yet. We're being told this is a minor. So the
Yes.
fact that
Yes.
this is a minor, that
Consent.
minor couldn't have given consent.
Consent.
Yeah,
They
of
can't
course.
give consent.
Yeah.
It's not legal.
That-
Yeah,
The
exactly.
consent is invalidated. Yeah.
That is
Yes.
an illegality, regardless of whether
Of course,
I filed the paperwork or not.
Yeah.
If truly that boy is
Is
a
a
minor,
minor. Yeah.
Mhm.
it's illegal.
Yes.
Right now, but what has been troubling my mind since this news came out is the fact that his daughter, who we're told has kidney failure,
Yeah.
has been in the UK. That's what we have been told. It's been in the UK receiving treatment. Now they've requested for an organ, right? And I'm very sure, I'm not a medical practitioner, but I'm very sure there would have been organ donors in the system in the UK here.
But there's a waiting list.
Here's the thing, there's a waiting list. The
long
waiting list is very long.
It's a
Right,
very
okay.
long one. It's
So
longer from
The
here to
only way you
Kapachan.
bypass that waiting list is to
Thank
basically
you.
come and say that somebody wants to donate, give me.
Thank you. That's
That's the only
exactly
way.
what he's done. Yeah.
So
Right.
which is
So
what he's done.
he's now gone ahead
I
to
found
go
somebody
to
back home.
Nigeria
Mhm.
to get someone, and we're being told, get someone off the street, promised heaven on earth, you're gonna be going to school, you're gonna live your best life, which, let's look at it, even if I'm a minor with the current state of the country, but if I'm a minor and I'm being promised this,
You would take the opportunity.
I will definitely take that opportunity.
Of course, yeah.
Now, the question is, was that, I mean, because there's a news that also came out that said the younger brother to the said minor has come out to say the brother told him he was traveling abroad to study. So the brother didn't tell him he was actually going to do someone a favor. He just said he's traveling abroad. But if being as may is a minor, right? Or he's not a minor, he's coming to the country. And what I don't get about the whole gist is that he came in and then they found out the organ doesn't match.
Exactly. Well, that's where I was going now with my question.
So is it that there have been no tests?
There's
or
been no
tests
who will
have been
carry out that
carried
test?
out
No.
before that child was brought in?
Abdul, you've said everything. This is how these things work. If I was in need of a kidney or whatever, or some internal organs, and my wife would come forward and say, I can offer, they would do, is it compatibility
Some analysis.
They will do some analysis.
Yeah,
to see
they
whether
would
it
do some
fits.
sort of test just to make
Yes,
sure.
whether
They always check
it's-
for compatibility.
Whether it's a proper match.
Mhm.
Now they said, no, Jude, sorry, your wife can't. So you have to go back on the waiting list. Maybe out of the blue. And they say, hang on, I've got brothers, man. And I call my brother up, Henry, blah, blah, blah. There'll be proper test. Because Henry is not in the country, or whoever my brother is not in the country with me, they might say, okay, go do blah, blah, blah in Nigeria and see. And they carry out those tests. But I don't think Nigeria has that capability. And they say, oh, Henry might be a proper match and a good donor for you. And I come back to the hospital here in the UK and say, hey, my brother is a match. Can we go? So that means I've circumnavigate my way through the waiting list because I brought my own donor. Great. Yeah. Now, my brother has to give consent. If he's an adult, fully fledged adult, he's able to give consent. Now, if my brother was, 16, 15, 17, he could not give consent. Even if my mother and my father forced him to do it, that's still not consent for him to come do, because I don't think they understand the gravity of that decision they were taking at the time. Now, the issue is bigger than what we're arguing about. There's issues of consent. There's issues of trafficking. There's issues of whether there were forged documentations.
Yeah.
There's so many issues. There's issue about whether the hospital here connived as well. Nobody's talking about that yet, because how did they get there? Which hospital? Was this a public hospital in the UK or a private one? How did that whole conversation start? There's letters flying around that he sent to the embassy. There's all sort of questions. But people are just focusing on him because he's the Senate, he used to be Deputy Senate President. Now, the bigger picture again is this. In Nigeria, as in so many poorer countries, there's been cases of people disappearing for no reasons, and they come back, their corpses come back with vital organs missing. And especially girls, young girls, the breast missing, the vagina missing, internal organs are missing, the boys, the same thing. And no one seemed to be able to say what is happening to these people. They all just pointed to ritual killings, which I do not believe is the case. There's always these Yahoo boys or Yahoo Plus boys doing ritual killings. I don't think that's the case. I think well-placed Nigerians in the society are harvesting organs for transplant. They might be going to, I'm not afraid to say things. They might be going to places like India to do these surgeries, because there they can circumvent the law and do whatever. They can navigate on the hand through the laws, and they mostly come back and die, because Nigeria, whether they like to hear this or not, Nigerians have an epidemic of organ failures, heart failures, kidney failures, liver failures, because of us. The accumulative way of our lifestyle, and we don't have proper health care. I know this because I've had friends who died from this, and a lot of them still very, very unwell. So there's been these kidnaps going on in Nigeria, and people missing organs after the cops turn up. What's causing this? Ike Ekweremadu obviously was coming to Europe to do it because he didn't trust the Nigerian healthcare system, because he has money. I'm pretty sure he knows that people go to India to do so-called transplants and they come back and die weeks later. He didn't trust the Indian side as well. He couldn't go to Arab countries to do it because they have proper laws. And he thought, where do I go now? South Africa has proper laws. Ghana has proper laws. Where do I go now? Okay, UK. And they forged documents. That, you know how our children look. They look like adults when they've been through suffer and all of that. You would mistake a 15-year-old for 27. So I don't know now whether he made an agreement with this child's parents or blah, 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 whatever he promised them, but it's come to light that this child is a minor. You've broken so many laws, so many. Consent is so many. So many. It baffles me that a man who claimed to be a lawmaker, number 2 at the House of Senate, didn't understand.
He's actually a lawyer.
Imagine that. It tells you where did he go to school to learn his law?
Are we shocked? Are we really shocked?
I'm not sure of that.
For the avoidance of doubt, let's say he read law.
Yes.
Yes, but come on. Are we really? I don't. Maybe because our leaders, even what he's doing, even this one, the only reason why I think there's so much uproar is that, one, it happened in the UK and people know about it. They've done far worse things. Come on.
If this was India, nobody will hear about it.
Nobody will hear about it.
They'll kill the child, they do the so they come back.
It's only because, fortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, fortunately, like he did it in a country whereby the laws work.
Yeah, and not just the law work. In this part of the world, as a social worker, if I was told anything on air, on Instagram, if I saw child abuse on Instagram, I have a duty of care to report it. I will warn you, and I'm reporting it. And I'm saying this on live TV, and my friends know this. Do not send me anything. If you send me anything that's bordering on criminality, I'm reporting you. I'm reporting your ass. I'm so sorry. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And they know me for this. I don't chew my words. So that doctor would have asked questions, because they will ask questions. Is their PIN number, is their doctor's license on the line?
On the line, yeah.
They ask these questions. We, as a social worker, when I go into hospitals, I ask these questions. If you've not given me consent to discuss anything outside, I do not discuss, whether it's your father calling, your son calling, your God calling, I don't care. This person has not given me consent. Thank you very much. But we know this because we're in a system that works. In Nigeria, consent, Kini, they will beat consent out of you. Yeah. You know, they'll beat that consent out of you under duress. And the power play, this was, like I said, number 4 or number 5 man in the country, a former deputy Senate president, a current senator. who could have easily just walked into Aso Rock to become the president, and is so ignorant of what is around him, ignorant of the problem of the masses, that you could go cajole. I don't know the story behind it. Cajole and bring some. It's pathetic.
Do you know what? I don't even think it's ignorance. You know, they're fully aware of the gravity of what they do.
Yeah.
But they just honestly do not care, because once again,
Yes.
I say I think across the whole continent, when people do not care for the flight of people that they consider are quote unquote less than, even though I hate that word, they do not care. So it's my daughter needs kidney.
He needs that kidney
by any means necessary.
Yeah.
I'm going to that's going to, it has to happen, and her life has to be saved. People don't sit back and, they don't sit back and think that all lives are equal.
Yeah.
And in the same way that I wouldn't want my child to go through this, why would I put another person's? They don't think like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that this is my king, and for me, my next of kin is what's important to me. And if it means that I have to suffer someone else's next of kin, but because they're poorer than me, I have the opportunity to exploit them, and I can get away with it, especially by virtue of my position. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
But I'm telling you, though, the law is not going to catch up with this. Nothing will happen to him. You know that. This is what I think will happen. This is somebody with diplomatic passport. I'm pretty sure he still got his diplomatic passport by virtue of his former position. Nigerian government are going to negotiate with the UK government, and UK government might ask for Nigerian government to release Nnamdi Kanu, and they'll get this guy back. This guy is a statesman. Whether we like it or not, whether he's a Bushman or not, he was a deputy Senate president. As a virtue of that, and Nigeria is not just a pushover country in the scheme of things. The current president of Nigeria, Buhari, is also not a pushover president. This was the same president who a guy who was Minister of Finance stole £10 million or dollars and ran out of the country, came to the UK. This man got the Mossad to bundle him and put him in a crate to bring him back to Nigeria. And it happened under Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher got so fooled about that, and that's how she stopped Nigerians coming here visa-free. And that we retaliated. So this man is a no-nonsense man. So I'm pretty sure we've already got the shame, but we don't care about shame in Nigeria. We know that. So they're going to go to the table and bargain. That man will be set free, and the story will be turned around. Even the British government will help him polish the whole story. They will polish it. People will just continue to suffer. I want people in Nigeria to look at the bigger picture, that all those people disappearing and their corpses appearing without their vital organs. It's possible that it's these well-placed people in the society that are asking people to kidnap people and kill them and harvest them for their organs. Because our former deputy Senate president is just giving us a pointer to that. That's what I want people to really know.
Well, going into the broader perspective about trafficking, why? I mean, we've heard stories of people spending their life savings in order for them to get out of the country. And I realize that most of these cases of trafficking happen within Africa crossing into Europe. And we've had several cases of, I think I was reading one where one of the human rights lawyers, Mr. Femi Falana, was saying he was handling a case in the Gambia, whereby about 25 Africans, I think about nine Nigerians were involved in it. And the president of Gambia then, Yahya Jammeh, they were actually going to go to Europe, and they were crossing through Gambia, and they were caught, and the president of Gambia then ordered them to be slaughtered. And, these are Africans, your own African people, and you just order them to be slaughtered just because of the fact that they're not from your own particular country. Mm-hmm. And we've also heard stories within Libya of how they've been tortured in Libya, how they've been tortured in China. And so I still just wonder why people still go into that they just have to leave Nigeria or leave Ghana or leave just for them to, to cross to Europe. And we still find them, most of them disappearing, most of them being there. And I just wonder why we still get ourselves involved in trafficking.
Let me tell you this. No middle class or well-to-do Ghanaian or Nigerian is leaving Nigeria without a proper prospect of coming to the UK to come and do something.
Yeah.
For a fact. And that's one thing we have to admit. The people that are literally scrambling and they're so much wanting to leave and going through illegal means and finding by any means necessary, it's because you're struggling and you know this. And everybody knows that where there's always that thing of abroad being where it's where you can better yourself because the systems work and the systems are in place. And it's easier for you to for you to essentially climb the social ladder.
Yeah.
But when the infrastructure in your country is not working, nothing works. And somebody is here telling you that if you pay this amount of money, you can go and cross Libya, you can do this, I'll get you here. Honestly, you're only taking that risk, right? If if your present situation is dire. Because let's be for real, if you have a really good job, you're earning good money, you can afford. Once your business is going through Libya to go and travel,
no, it's not. You're waiting to apply for the visa.
That you wouldn't do that, and that's a fact. And I always say this: that when you speak to I say well-to-do Ghanaians, because there's no desire for them to come to
at all.
They can come and do holiday.
Yeah,
absolutely, but. For them, the lifestyle that we live in is crazy.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to understand that people are I don't blame people for taking that risk.
No, I do not either. I do not blame them because it is desperation. And have you ever been in that stage of your life when you live in quiet, silent desperation? It's killing. Like Nala rightly said, no meaningful middle class who's got something coming, even if it's $200 regularly coming to their account in Nigeria, they won't even attempt to do that. So it's desperation, and it's not just particular to Africans in Nigeria. It's we this is magnified because these are our people, so we see that. But I tell you too, it's endemic in Vietnam. You remember the guys who were slaughtered in that truck? Where the guy from Essex was driving into UK. They were all dead. Yeah. So I'll tell you, it's so big in the Vietnamese community. It's so big in the Chinese community. Those people you see running around Chinese restaurants, most of them, or almost all of them, were trafficked. And these are trafficked by proper gang leaders, gang masters. Russian girls are trafficked into this country. Before Ukraine became a status symbol badge you put on our shirt, the Ukrainian women were trafficked into this country. I'm a social worker. I've worked with a lot of these people. I've seen situations where Russian girls, Ukrainian girls, Georgian girls, Romanian girls were trafficked in this country by gangsters, and they'll bring them here to work as prostitutes, and their passports were seized. And until we found out, we got involved before they became free. Even at that, sometimes they'll tell you they don't want anything. We accept that because they have capacity to make those decisions. So Nigerian one is different from that Vietnamese and the Russian ones because mostly. It is born out of poverty. And let's be honest, man. I've been here for 20 years? And even the first few years of my life in this country, I was able to do more for my family than the whole country would ever do for my family in 50 years. And my neighbors do see this, just the way I saw my neighbor's son doing very well. And they're like, Jude only left 2 years ago. Look how good the mom look. They don't beg for food no more. So they want the same thing. And it just replicates itself. That does it, and it goes.
Yeah,
and like I said, none of us knew at the time what we was getting into. The people who even helping us didn't even know they were human trafficking until it became against the law. Against the law in Europe.
I think until conversations were being had, a lot of people probably didn't understand the gravity of what they were doing.
No, they thought they were helping each other out.
Exactly. And even till date, when you speak to people about certain things, they still don't understand it. No. They're just even when I'm in Ghana and I bring up certain things about people having underage housemaids and stuff, they tell me that I should go with my UK lifestyle. Yeah. Because they don't understand it.
No.
But this is the norm.
Yeah.
So when you try to explain to them, yo, this like this, like there's something like this, like there's something wrong with this. This is not right.
Yeah,
they don't understand it.
No, we need a whole tsunami of ideas. We need a whole eradication of the current lifestyle. But again, we must be very careful. We live in the UK. We can't judge Nigeria based on the standards of the UK.
True.
Universally, we want every country, every system to work. But I'm not an idiot. I'm not sat here as an idiot on TV to say, yeah, that thing grandeur about Nigeria. Nigeria's going to be like UK in the next 50 years. That's a lie. We must learn within our own limitations and our own weaknesses and our own structure and system to work at what is well for our society. And I tell you the truth, if the average Nigerian has food coming in, they don't bother about much. You know, that's why Fela sang The Suffering and Smiling. So holding Nigeria to the standards of the UK is quite difficult. But the whole world is becoming one global world. So
but that's what I'm about to say. With globalization, I think we are going to.
That's where I'm going now. Because with the whole world becoming one, whatever you do in Lagos vibrates in London. So we have to become aware. There are books out there to read. These people, what do they junk on? What information do they junk on a daily that they're not aware of these whole laws that differs from place to place? It beggars belief. So the whole mindset needs to change. There's been fantastic work done by different governors, like the Edo State Governor Obaseki. He's been doing some good work around human trafficking, setting up foundations and helping other people with setting up foundations to ensure that people are grounded in this whole human trafficking business. They understand it. They know how detrimental it is to their health and to the country. And it's helping them get and gain new skills. But until Africa gets up from their bottom and understand that the majority of the population, the youth, are not gainfully employed, then we're not ready to start any conversation. They need to find how to get these people busy, give them proper employment. We're not doing it. The Rwanda situation will not solve anything. That's a joke. People will just keep coming. They want to come. Again, it's also the facade that nations like UK put out there. It's that facade. UK tell the whole world they're this, they're that.
Yeah,
people want to come see a taste of that. Before I left Africa, I thought all Christmas was white Christmas. I thought all the white people gather in the streets, roast peanuts or whatever, and enjoy life. I came here. I found out that Christmas was the most loneliest period, if that's a word, in the whole of my lifetime.
Everyone stays indoors.
It's the most boring time in UK. It's the most horrible time in UK. These people don't care about anybody. They don't share that love you see on TV. That's a lie. Because I live in the UK. I've lived here 20 years. They do not share it. You don't come out. The day is dark by 4 p.m. So who comes out on the street to start sharing love? They don't do it. It's a big lie. It's a blistering cold. Nobody comes out to share love. But that was the picture we had. Home Alone told us that Christmas was bubbly for the families. It's a big lie. Nobody come out and share. Everybody's in their homes, man. Nobody come. People even work on Christmas Day. None until we change those perspectives, people would think, oh yeah, it's heaven right here. I'm not saying UK is better than Nigeria. That's fact. But come on, man. We can't judge Nigeria on the standards of UK because we're not even started yet. We don't have a system that works. So that's it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Like I keep saying, topics like this, we can go on and on and on, and we don't end it, but we have limited time. Just before we go, let me just put your mind and let me start with you, Jude. What's your take on the UK government shipping refugees to Rwanda?
Okay.
What do you think about it?
My gosh, that's a difficult one. Because first of all, I'm a social worker. I should be standing for people who are desperate. Like I said earlier, look, I'm British, so that's the law my government has put in place, and I'll have to respect that. If another government come and they think they want to...
That was such a diplomatic answer.
I'm not landed though. So I will respect the laws of the land because the Bible says respect authority. I'm respecting my authority. I'm respecting Priti Patel and whatever she's doing. But it won't solve the problem because Rwanda is not the solution. The solution is there. The solution is, whether we like it or not, Britain is my country now. Britain needs to hands off these so-called poorer nations' resources. We and you will keep up this lifestyle in Europe because of the extraction in Africa. The extraction in Nigeria, the extraction in Congo, the extraction in Ghana, the extraction in Sierra Leone, the extraction in Gambia, the extraction in Liberia. Our lifestyle in Europe, everyone, is the reason we have violence and wars and conflicts in Africa, in the poorer parts of the world. So you cannot have this luxury and not have the illegal immigration or illegal migration. So it will never work. Rwanda, I don't know how they got themselves into that pickle. I used to have respect for Kagame. I knew he was full of hot air. He was just blowing baloney because I knew it was just all about pictures for him. And I told him in his Instagram profile, but I don't know if he read it. But now even my level for him is just dropped more because he accepted that. To what end? What good is that? What benefit to Africa or to Britain? People are still going to come here because we put up a facade. And whether we like it or not, the extraction is there. They continue to extract. They don't treat us as equal partners. I'm British, I'm Nigerian still, I come from Africa.
Yeah.
So they do remind me most times to go back to Africa, so I know that. So they don't treat us as equal partners. We don't have says. We don't have any say over the cost of cocoa beans that Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire produces. They're the biggest producers in the world. They don't have says over the prices. They don't. Sierra Leone and Liberia don't influence diamond prices. Congo don't influence the price of iron ore or uranium. These Western nations do all of that. Nigeria don't influence the prices of petroleum products. Their companies are there destroying through continuous extraction. And yet you think we shouldn't migrate. Migration is not just about economy. It's not just simply economic or financial purposes. It's also about climate change, the global change of climate. Because in the areas of the South in Nigeria, due to the extraction of these major companies from abroad, their climate is gone chaotic. People can no longer farm, people can no longer fish, people can no longer do all these things. So where do they head to? They only head to the places they see on TV are living good. And now you bring a global climate blah 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 stories trying to limit our progress. We can't do anything because of all of this. So Britain needs to understand that it goes two ways. They extract our resources aggressively until they stop and treat us as equal partners. This will never stop. If Nigeria worked, I won't be here. Because it's a beautiful place. I still tell Nigerians, it's a beautiful place to be. I grew up there. I spent the first 25 years of my life in Nigeria. Although there was poverty and I was part of that whole, I suffered under that. But if we had systems that work, most of us will not even come. So until they go back and correct those ills, migration will continue, whether they call it illegal migration or not. It will continue. So the policy of taking people to Rwanda, while I respect it because it's our law, they say respect the authorities. I can't go against my authority, but I don't think it will work because we'll have more and more and more people coming in. That's fact.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to say
something controversial,
but I don't know if I should say it. It would be quite interesting to see the demographics of people that they're sending to Rwanda.
Yeah.
Because I say this, right? And obviously we've all seen how policies in terms of like refugees, we know that the UK generally has taken a very hostile approach to refugees. But one thing I will say is that when the war in Ukraine happened, I did not see that same hostility that was the same hostility that the UK government had for refugees from other countries. And I sit back and I remember thinking, my friends and I had this conversation, is that why is it almost as if that once it's, sorry for me to say this, it's Caucasian blue-eyed people that need help, all of a sudden Britain's opening their doors or bring a refugee into your home, but we don't have the same approach when we're dealing with people from, excuse my language, from ethnic minority background. We didn't have the same approach when it was people fleeing either from Bangladesh, from Nigeria, from Sierra Leone. There was nothing of this sort. So for me, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, I really want to know what demographic of refugees that they're sending over to Rwanda, because we also need to question this.
Yeah, but you're right for pointing that out. But don't forget also, the circumstances are different. I'm not defending the government at all, because I've asked the same questions you're asking, and I've been brainstormed on this, and we've discussed it in professional settings, and I do understand why they're doing this. Now, for example, the Ukraine one was war, and they were directly accepting them from their country straight here. Now, when Yemen happened, when Syria happened, those people kept traveling through safe havens like Turkey. Although Turkey, very smart, They open their gate for you to enter. They open the other gate. Bye. Because we're not taking care of you. Now, those people travel through maybe places like Bulgaria and Romania. They're not stopping. They kept coming. They're coming into inland Europe, like France, Austria, and Germany. That's where the problem is, because refugee status, if you're fleeing, you go to the first safe place. That's where you should declare that status.
But can I say something?
Yeah.
If you're a refugee and you're fleeing war, right, and you know that in certain countries the refugees are not treated well, would you not go to the country where they treat refugees?
Of course, I would do that.
That's simple maths now.
That's simple human. That's simple human. How do you call it? Intuition.
Why would you want to go and suffer?
But the governments, especially that of the UK, they have these nuances in the law that tells you, oh my God, they differentiate this. There is elements of racism. But the Prime Minister, to be fair to him, he said last week, if there is any illegal Ukrainians in London, he's going to deport them to Rwanda. I'm like, good luck with that. He's just saying that because he's there with the Commonwealth head of government, and he was just for TV. He said they will be deported, but I know that's a big lie. But having said that, you said something before you started that whole analysis. Britain has been hostile to immigrants. Fact.
Of course,
Italians, they're not as rich as the UK. They take more immigrants than they protect them more. They go to the seas and take them. Germany is richer than any country in Europe. They've done more. We should understand this, that, okay, Britain is hostile, just like Australia is. Australia would deport a British citizen because they've smoked weed before. They've been to jail for smoking weed. So different government with their hostility, like America had under Trump and all of that. So the way they describe, the way they demonstrate their law is up for questioning, but this is our laws, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we have to question it, we have to challenge so that people can be assisted when they're vulnerable. But unfortunately, this is the law. And these guys are very smart. At the same time, they put in laws that are hostile to immigrants. They're also saying you can protest. You go out and gather and protest again, you might be arrested. Because there's laws against that now.
It's a stumbling block, isn't it? And now, because of course they weren't able to to get the refugees over to Rwanda because of the Human Rights Act. What's the next thing they're discussing now? Repealing the Human Rights Act.
They're going to repeal the Human Rights Act, and
they're definitely going to do that.
Yeah, they're going to do that. They're going to make sure we don't listen to the European Court anymore.
Yeah, let's see. I would like let's see how long it takes them to do it, because once again, because we're not part of the European Union, the UK can do a lot of things that previously they would have been prevented by virtue of being part of the European Union. So the sovereignty that they wanted back, they do have it now. But let's see how that plans out legally.
But this has been a long time coming, though. It didn't just happen over.
I know, but I know that they've always had an issue with the Human Rights Act because there's a lot of things that the government couldn't do because people were raising it.
But guess who were the guys who wrote the Human Rights Act? The same English lawyers.
But but once again, like I said, like just like with every single state, you you put together this legal instrument, and when it no longer serves you, what do you do? So it's just is what it is. It's no longer serving them, and that's why.
So the UK government can be said they did human trafficking to Rwanda.
Yeah.
Then human trafficking to Rwanda.
Anyway, thanks very much. As usual, we really, we can't flog this issue because it's an occurring problem, and we'll only do what we can to kind of conscientize our people and let them understand what. But it's always interesting speaking with you guys. I always get so much from your perspectives, and so we share all the experiences that we have here and there, and we'll just keep letting others know what needs to be done, and we just do what we can as individuals to assist our people. So, like I said, time's of the essence again, and we'll definitely be bringing such topics like this back again, and until we come your way again, thank you very much. This is us, and from me, Abdul, and I've got Nana, and I've got Jude. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next episode. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.